Okay. Hello, everyone. Sawadee ka. And welcome to the part 2 of the You Are Able video series with myself, Abel Wanamakok, your host. And today I am bringing back my previous guest, and I was checking the date. I spoke to Susanna last on this series in May 2020. So that was more than a year ago. And the reason I wanted to do this today, before I introduce Susanna, is because there were requests from some viewers on my YouTube channel on how people have changed in the last year and a half. And I'm just going to keep saying a year and a half from when I last spoke to my guests, new guests and old guests until now, because I have to make a lot of changes in my life. And I'm sure that my guests have too. And I really want to learn from them, as with my audience, they want to learn from them how they have to change, adapt, how they have to think differently in order to survive or even thrive. So today I wanted to introduce everyone to enjoy our show and be invited to watch my show with my guest for today, who is a friend of mine from 2 years ago. We met 2 years ago on a TEDx stage. September 15th was the date. Susanna E. Woo!
Ooh, thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Abel, for inviting me.
And you're welcome.
It's nice to meet again on this platform. It's very nice to meet again.
Yes. Well, Susanna, I have to, let all the audience know she has such a colorful background. She had many lives, okay? She used to be a competitive, ballerina or a horse rider?
Both.
Oh my goodness. You were a supermodel back in Europe. You also did interior design. And then now you are a breathwork practitioner. You are an author. You are a TEDx speaker, and you are a transformational coach. So this lady, I'm just so lucky to have met her. So let's go straight into it. And before I say anything, before I ask you the question, Susanna, is there anything you want to say to the audience first or no?
Well, thank you for being here. And thank you for this wonderful presentation. A list of everything that I did in my many previous lives, I can say. And when you were describing this, I was thinking, oh gosh, I am a multi-potentialite. There is this beautiful TED talk of Emily Wapnick when she speaks about multi-potentialite. And when you were listing everything that I did in my previous lives, I thought, okay, maybe I can finally start saying that I'm a multi-potentialite.
You are.
So thank you for reminding me that.
You are, because not everybody have such a colorful background and have done so many different types of, careers, and I think it's really interesting. I mean, yeah, very happy to know you in my life. Now, of course, your background present is you're a breathwork practitioner, you're a coach, and of course, you are an author as well. Now, many people have had their life upside down because of COVID. Maybe some people did not have any changes in their lives, but I want to hear from you. How had COVID-19 changed the way that you had to work or the way that you have to think towards your work or even your lifestyle?
How much time do I have to answer that?
We're doing this for only half an hour, and I think we already passed 5 minutes.
Okay, I will keep it very short. Well, it definitely had an impact, not just on my life, but on the life of everyone on the planet. These are, as I like to say, extraordinary times. These are times they go beyond the ordinary. So it definitely had an impact on my work. It had an impact also on my mindset and in all the emotion, in all the set of emotions, in the way I can see the future, the way I can shift from worst case scenario to best case scenario, and it definitely had an impact on everything. And it's it's been, I can say, a challenging time. It still is a challenging time. Yeah. And I think I can, of course, I'm talking about myself, and I think I can talk and I can speak about everybody else. We are facing challenges that probably we were not even prepared for. And that's the idea, to do the best we can with what we have. That is the idea.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with so many things that you said. And of course, I do not want to add in my experiences and to, overshadow your experience, because this show is about you and your experiences. And if anybody wants to know how my life have changed, I have to take all my work online, and I lost 90% of my work as a presenter. But my voiceover work has increased. So things just totally flipped and totally changed, but my expenses still stay the same. But I have to eat cheaper food, be more aware of how I spend. And I still feel okay, your life is obviously not the same as before, but there are still people out there who have no work. They lost their jobs and they moved back to, their home country or their home state in Thailand. And so I have to just count my blessings, and just, like you said, go with the flow and accept things the way that it's going now. So my second question I want to ask you is that, we're both living in Phuket, Thailand. You are originally from Italy. I'm originally from Hong Kong, and I, moved to the US. But we both consider Phuket, Thailand, our homes, because you have been in Phuket for 6-7 years, correct?
This year I will celebrate my 7th birthday. November, yeah. I will, 7 years.
I also moved here in November. See, so we have more things in common.
Exactly.
So I wanted to ask you, since we both live in Phuket, and we are talking about this work environment in this area of the world, how have your, work environment, I'm talking about only work environment, changed in the last year and a half since we last spoke on this series?
Well, it changed. It definitely changed. My work before COVID was mainly in presence, either groups or one-to-one sessions. Yeah. And it definitely changed. I am still doing some private practice in presence, of course, respecting all the safety measures and everything.
Yeah.
But then I had to shift the most part of my work online. Yeah. So I have sessions like we are having now.
Yes.
A lot of them, well, not group sessions. I have to say that for online sessions, I'm working mostly one-to-one, both with the coaching, with transformational alchemy, with transformational tarot, which is another, let's say, another tool that I have in my toolbox. And I can put all of these together and do this online. It definitely changed. I consider myself, though, and I am totally with you when you said that, I consider myself very lucky and privileged to live in this environment. If I have to make a comparison or an analogy with my own country, it's been very different. So I consider myself very privileged to be here. We didn't have what happened in other countries, for example. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I can still meet some clients, some coaches, in person, it's something that I consider a true gift and a true privilege. Yeah.
Have you been able to travel at all back to your country in the last year and a half?
Nope. No. Last time I visited my country was in 2015. So it's been 6 years. I meet my friends online, but I haven't. For many reasons. Also because I wanted to establish my my work and my career. And so I said, okay, I want to stay here. Before COVID, of course, I have been able to travel around, like Malaysia, China. But
Yes.
since COVID, I've been here. Actually, that is not completely true. Last year in December and January, I was able to go to Chiang Rai for a retreat.
Yes.
I was teaching in a retreat, and it was Chiang Rai, but not abroad, like not overseas, like that. But since March 2021, I have been here.
Yeah.
Enjoying the storms. Like
Phuket.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoying Phuket and enjoying Phuket life.
Yeah. I think after not traveling for more than 2 years, even though we do still travel like road trips within Thailand, I really miss my family because my mom and dad are in Ohio in the US. Haven't seen them for 2.5 years now, and I start to really miss them. So going back to the questions, Susanna, is similar to the second question, but the third question is not related to work at all. It can be about anything. And I wanted to ask you is like, what are like some major changes that you had to adapt to in your life? Or, it could be the way you think, it could be the way you see things, it could be work, it could be like, I don't know, your relationships. Like, can you share any like major changes?
Well, of course, I had to, in a way, it's been a work of reframing my ideas about work, about what I am capable of doing, reframing a lot of emotions, reframing some concepts. For example, the concept of failure, because I thought, okay, if I keep calling this a failure, that will guide me into a place where I don't want to be. So, and this is one of the, let's say, guidelines of many communication models. Everything that we can name as failure, we can reframe it as feedback. So what is it that it's no longer working? Because it's true, this huge change that the world and myself we went through made us reframing everything. We like I say we, but of course I should say I. Actually, let me say I felt being in a deep state of uncertainty. What am I gonna do? Also, the bureaucracy here for non-Thai people, work permit, visa, everything. So there was a huge uncertainty. What am I going to do? So I had to work on my emotions, because every time I feel we stay in a world of uncertainty, we lose the touch, we lose the connection with being grounded. And it started like, okay, where am I going to do? What am I going to work? The fear, like worst case scenarios appearing at all time, where I could envision myself living in poverty, not having a house, not having a country, being here and there. It was really, I have to say, a horror movie. And then one day I said, okay, showing these movies, being the main character in these horror movies is not transforming my life into a never-ending party. So what can I do? What can I do? And now, of course, now I'm laughing at that. I can see myself like that, and I say, oh, look at me, how I was there. And now, of course, I'm laughing. It's a nice laughter. It's a smile. And I understand. And during this whole process, like all the aspects of my life, I have to revisit all of them. And what I think it's been very important, and it is still very important, is to be surrounded by a good tribe, a tribe of people, a tribe of friends, a tribe of people, a tribe of, I have to say, like-minded people.
You're in my tribe?
Sorry?
You're in my tribe?
Yeah, and you are in mine. So yeah, surrounding ourselves with people that can really support us, that can nurture us,
Yeah.
that can help us in not losing the connection with that sense of being grounded, of being safe, because we had to work on our sense of being safe, being
Yeah.
protected,
Yeah.
working on trust. I remember that last time in the last interview, we spoke a lot about gratitude, which was the
Yes.
topic of my
Yes.
talk. And this one is, of course, about uncertainty and failure, which are negative. Sorry, I have to do this negative qualities, but we can reframe them. And instead of uncertainty, we can turn it into trust that we are protected, that we are safe. That was a huge breakthrough for me. And I was listening to this remarkable
Excuse me.
woman. She's an
Window.
an Italian psychotherapist, and she has a YouTube channel, and her videos are in Italian, and she's talking about the idea of if we are here in this incarnation, it is because we have the tools to deal with everything that happens, because we are supposed to learn some lessons from what happens in this lifetime. And I strongly believe that. So I said, okay, what are the gifts for me? So I went back to myself.
Yeah.
I made a decision that I had been postponing for many years, which was, and still is, to get my PhD in clinical psychology. Finally, I made that decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it's never too late. It's not over till it's over. and also, and we were talking about that before, necessity is the mother of invention. So what can I do? Before working outside, how can I work inside? And this is also an invitation that I extend to all the people, to the people that are listening, that will listen to this, they will see, they will watch this video.
Mm-hmm.
Before working on the outside, what are you available to do to work on the inside? Because when something inside here changes, the outside changes as well. And working on trust, how can we turn uncertainty into trust and failure into feedback? I have some questions for that, so I wrote them down. So maybe if we'll have a few minutes left at the end, I will slowly read the list of questions so people can do this exercise if they want.
Okay. I think a lot of the things that you said was very insightful, because I can tell you that when I didn't have much pain or suffering, when life was just going and, work was just coming in, then you're just kind of, I was just in like in a cycle, I was just doing everything like I've always done. And I don't work on myself and I don't reflect unless I'm in suffering or when I'm in pain or when I'm struggling, right? Because life is just pretty good, life is pretty good. And, of course, COVID-19 came. And I believe a lot of the things that you said as well is that trust in, the you can call it the universe, trust in your higher self or whatever it is, that whatever that you encounter, you have the ability and the tools to deal with them and to handle them. And it's just that I myself, as a communications coach, I also struggle, I'm still learning as well. To communicate with myself. And that's what you mean by working with yourself. I have to also adjust the way I think, the way I see something like negative, because I remember at the beginning of this month, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have no work. I have no work coming in this month. And I was wondering, where is my work going to come in from? And I prayed. I do not have a specific religion, but I do believe in the philosophy of Buddhism. Okay. And I do call myself a Buddhist when I have to write down a religion, even though Buddhism is not a religion. And I pray and I say, please, I need some jobs. I need some jobs, because the jobs just wasn't coming in like it used
Yeah.
to. And your mind gets negative about it. It's like, oh, is my worth lower now? Because I lost a job, or I don't have as many jobs, and it has nothing to do with me or with you. It's because the environment and the situation.
Yeah.
There are no events, for example, for me to host because they're not allowed, right? They're not allowed to be held. So I cannot even host an event. And yeah, it takes a lot of change. I don't want to go into too much of my stuff, but it takes a lot of adaptation and change to how you see a situation, because there's so much uncertainty in everybody's lives now. I know so many people who change from being a business owner to having to do freelance, or they have to move back to their home, or they just totally started a new business, or they just try to find another business to do. I mean, people have to change so much. So, and my last question for you, the fourth question, is tell me a story, a short one, that you want to share with the audience today on your topic of uncertainty and failure. Something that is bizarre, a little bit crazy, funny. I'm sure there's a lot of out of the norm stuff that you want to share with us, but what is it that you would like to share that happened in the last year and a half?
Well, answer will surprise you.
Okay.
Because like you're asking me if there is a story, if there is a bizarre, unusual story. Well, I guess that this COVID is the story.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah,
bizarre, the most bizarre, the most unusual, definitely the most unexpected. I have to say that in 2019, every year at the end of the year, I revisit the just like the year, the last year, and I sort of prepare, I start planning the year to come. And so at the New Year's Eve of December 2019, I did this, and I started planning a lot of, in 2020, I want to go to the States and I want to go to Japan. I've always been wanting to visit Japan. I feel very connected with Japan. I love Japanese style. And then I said, this year, 2020 is going to be the right one. You know, that kind of, that energy, very fire energy. And then 2020 started, and I was planning to go. And then life said, I don't think you will go to Japan this year. And I don't think you will go to Japan neither in 2021. So it was like the change of plans.
right.
Which for me, well, I'm used to change plans. I'm used to this. So for me, I don't consider a change of plan very bizarre. It could be upsetting, that is, but it's not bizarre like for me. And then I started observing all these changes, all these uncertainties. And as I told you, I'm very fond of Japanese culture. There are two concepts that I've been studying, that I've been investigating. And one is a proverb. It's a Japanese proverb that says, Nana korobi yaoki, which means fall down 7 times, get up 8. And this represents the idea of not giving up.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a nice concept, not giving up, but it's not focused on, like, it doesn't start with the falling down. It's not the main focus. Because if this proverb was about, okay, you fall down, you accept that, whatever, it would say fall down 7 times, get up 7.
Yeah.
But it says fall 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
So in this, there is the concept of, I use a word that it might be very like used this time, which is resilience, or the capacity to, not giving up. And that helped me a lot. Even in those situations where there was apparently, they were dead ends, or there was apparently not a hope. And as you mentioned, all of your thoughts about there is no job, I have no work, how am I going to do? I went through the same process. I was like, my job before COVID was, yeah, okay, I have this and this and that. And then all of a sudden, flat,
Yeah.
completely flat. So there was this, okay, how am I going to earn to make a living? So fall 7 times, get up 8. That was the first one that came to mind. So I had to reinvent myself and to discover new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is another concept, which is the wabi-sabi, which is another beautiful concept of
Wasabi?
Japanese
Not
culture.
wasabi.
No, not wasabi. No, wasabi is wabi-sabi,
Okay.
which could be translated. It's a very philosophical concept, which can be translated into the beauty of imperfection or the perfection of imperfection. And to me, it's very interesting because, well, first of all, it's a Japanese concept, and the Japanese culture is focused on perfection, on doing everything super perfect. And the idea that the same culture that holds perfection into a high stake is also the same culture that gave birth to the beauty of imperfection is very interesting. So it's the idea of, and if to the word imperfection, we change it and we put the word failure, is like, we don't have to like failure, we have to learn from it.
Yes.
And so it's the beauty of failure or the beauty of feedback, so we can learn from that. What is it? So I do things this way. This didn't work. Okay, let's do something else.
Change. Yep.
So we don't have to accept failure as it is. We don't have to accept anything as it is. I strongly believe that we can change it if we want it. And then the other thing is the feeling of failure won't last forever.
Yes.
And we need to give ourselves permission of that. And then the last one, which is a very Buddhist concept, which is nothing is permanent.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing is permanent. And therefore, if we want to see it in the positive way, everything is changing.
Exactly. That's something that I always share. Everything shall pass. When I'm being interviewed, like what kind of advice you want to give to people. And this is something that I remind myself all the time as well. Yeah. And that is when you're going through the hardship, your mind gets kind of cloudy and it doesn't, you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when you pass it, you laugh about it, right? Just like you did.
Yeah. And I would like to say something because I think it's very important. I want to add this. Of course, with all these beautiful words, everything is changing. Take your, when these hard moments happened, I want to make it very clear that my attitude was not, what a beautiful chance of learning.
Yeah.
What a nice opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
No, my attitude was, oh gosh. So there was a huge fear because I was disconnected with my center. So of course I didn't welcome these very sad moments, because also I feel I have the utmost respect for all those people. They suffered from it and are still suffering. So I don't want to be this glitter person, oh, what a nice chance it's not like that. It's also, okay, I want to feel grounded and I want to take this moment to think and say, what am I going to do now? Yeah. I am scared. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
It's human.
Yeah.
Absolutely human to think.
Yes.
to feel that, So, and then there is this other part that says, Nana Korobi, Yaoki, fall 7 times, get up 8, because we can,
That's why I wanted to do this, revisit on my You Are Able video series, because I also don't like to pretend that everything is so perfect in life, which is not. And I complain, I bitch sometimes. And I say this because, I just want to say it. I just want the effect of saying that word. And not everything is so pretty, and of course, I'm a very optimistic person, and so are you. But that's not the reality of life, because we mainly only learn when we suffer, when we have struggles. And I don't like to call the word failure, even though I have always accepted this word. But now, as a communications coach, I don't choose that word. I choose the word of like, what are your challenges, or how have you improved, or what feedback, just like you said, what feedback have you had, or what did you think you could improve on based on this experience? Because all experience are just experiences. And of course, when you are feeling like a failure, then you're going to call it a failure, and that's fine too. It's fine to just don't label yourself as, I am a failure. No, you are not a failure. You were just in an experience where you had a situation outside of you that is teaching you something. So that's how I want to label it. So that's all for my questions for you now, Susanna, and we're almost at a half an hour, and that is the attention span of most people nowadays. Actually, much less, because the TED Talks are from 18 minutes to like 10 minutes now. So thank you so much to everybody who's watching. And before we go, I wanted to ask Susanna, is there anything you want to share that I did not ask you to the audience in the next, last minute or so?
Okay, 2 things very quick. One is related to what I heard you saying about suffering. It's a thought that came to my mind when you were talking, and it takes a tremendous amount of stress, physical stress, to turn a particle of carbon into a diamond. So I like to consider all of us like beautiful little pieces of carbons that are slowly gets transformed into diamonds.
Right. Perfect.
And I would like to share this very short list of questions of reframing.
Okay.
So whenever something happens, and I wrote them down, so I'm going to read them.
Okay.
And think of an example of when you, and I'm talking to you, dear listener, when you failed at something. And these are the questions. What happened? Answer this one first. Second, what made you consider it a failure? How did you feel about it when it happened? Were you sufficiently prepared at that time? Because sometimes we consider ourselves failures when maybe it was just our preparation that was not enough. Not us. We were not prepared enough. What were the external factors at play? Did you listen to your intuition? What was it telling you? And faced with the same situation in future, what would you do differently? How can you reevaluate this failure with a growth reframe, or through a lens of grace, which is another very interesting word? And what has changed as a result of the experience? And last questions, what do you need to know now to move on from it?
So that's your homework, audience.
Answering all these questions, or not many, all of them, or just those you consider important, maybe 1 or 2 have, they ring a bell, would help us in reframing the concept of failure and uncertainty into something more solid, more safe, and from failure to feedback, and from uncertainty to grace, and from carbon to diamonds.
Wow, that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. It wrapped up this whole series. I mean, you're the first person in the second part of the You Are Able series, and the way you ended it was just so beautiful. We are all diamonds, but we needed the heat to clean up the dirt that is on the diamond so that we can be, the real diamonds and shine like what we're meant to do in life. So, wow, thank you so much for that, Susanna. And I want to invite the viewers to please follow my page, like my page, come to my YouTube channel, because this will be aired in YouTube, or actually saved into YouTube. So please share it with anybody who you would like to share this with, and do subscribe to my video. And I have a lot of interesting things happening at Find Your Voice Asia, which is my communications coaching page. So please go visit us there, as well as I am planning some webinars in the future. And for Susanna, where can people follow you, Susanna, or find you?
Well, I am still in the process of making my page and my website, because one day I like this picture, the other day I like this other picture, and what I can say. So it's really a process that, the issue of sort of perfectionism, it's good on one hand, and on the other hand can be extremely annoying. So I am in the process, but of course I have my Facebook page, I have my LinkedIn page with my name, Susanna E, and I have two profiles on Instagram. One is Raw Susa, RAWSUSA, and the other one is Tarot in Fabula, Tarot _in_ Fabula. And I am taking care of those profiles. I'm sharing things, and very soon I will have also my page on Facebook, not just my private profile, but my page and hopefully my profile.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And thank you so much to everybody who's watching. I will continue to do the You Are Able series, and I will inform you when, but I do plan on it to be midweek, so like Tuesday or Wednesdays, for it to air live on my page, which is MC Able Wanamakok, and then it will be later uploaded onto YouTube, plus on my Instagram profile, MC Able. So thank you so much. And
thank you so much.
Stop the recording now. Thank you so much, Susanna.